Hello and welcome. I'm Liz Booker, literary aviatrix. Today I have a great aviatrix writer's room conversation for you with Polly Letofsky, the owner of My Word Publishing. Today she's going to talk with us about the self-publishing services that her company offers, and she's going to walk me through a consult for the book that I'm working on so you can get an idea of what that relationship looks like. So let's get started. Fewer than 10% of pilots and aircraft mechanics are women. These are their stories of tenacity, adventure, and courage. Stories with the power to inspire, heal, and connect. Welcome to the Literary Aviatrix community, where we leverage the power of story to build and celebrate our community and inspire the next generation of aviation. Polly Letofsky, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, I have been looking so forward to this. So first and foremost, before we get started, I want to kind of help our listeners out because I know if people are coming to this interview, they are probably thinking about publishing. And I kind of want to tell them what we're not going to cover in depth today, but where they can find that information. So first and foremost, today we're talking about self-publishing. The other kinds of publishing you can learn a whole bunch more about, both on Polly's website in her video Publishing 101 and in the Aviatrix writer's room on my website. You can find an interview with literary agent Amy Collins, who covers all of that very well in depth for us and describes kind of who should look at what kind of publishing. So go take a listen to that. I also have an interview with Brooke Warner on hybrid publishing on my site. And then I have some other stuff like Marilyn Noble, who is a professional editor and a ghostwriter. So you can listen to her. And then once you get the book published, I have an interview with a book promoter, Jen Coburn. So lots of great resources. Today, we're focusing specifically on Polly and her services. So let's get her started. Polly, can you tell us about you and your company?
Yeah, you bet. My Word Publishing started now over 13 years ago. How about that?
Congratulations.
And
That's amazing.
I really, you spend your life living your life, then you write a memoir. And then I just really got ripped off in the publishing world. And
Wow.
this is right before the self-publishing world was getting ready to explode. Okay. And I just made bad decisions. I make sure to let people know there are bad decisions and then there's getting ripped off. They're two different things. Okay. So I thought mine was sort of a mixture of both. I survived that horribleness because essentially if you're handing someone over your rights, which includes publishing rights and sales and distribution rights, and you don't quite know what you're getting into. And it's your life story. So I felt like that was sort of being hijacked. But I got out of that situation, frankly, by running. And then I thought there's a lot of authors I'm watching as they're making the same bad decisions that I did. So it's that old story where you sit at the Panera going, "Excuse me, could I borrow a pen?" And then you write on the back of a napkin what you want to do and create. So I wanted to create a publishing company where the author maintained all their rights and royalties and final decision making. And I would be there to sort of drive the bus. I'm the project manager. I do everything the publisher does, but I maintain no ownership. So the model is that they pay me to do what I do. We create their accounts all in their name. And so they get everything and we train them up and off they go once everything is running smoothly.
I'm so excited to talk with you. And what I was hoping to do today is to go through. So on your website, you got a button right there in the front that says, click here to book your 30-minute consult. And so I was hoping to do a consult with you about the book that is my work in progress. Can we do that?
Let's have some fun.
Okay. And so my book is not ready for publication. It's at least a year away. So I'm certainly not going to hold you to any numbers that you say today. This is just an exercise to demonstrate what this relationship might look like when somebody comes in and clicks that button and schedules with you.
Okay.
So I'll let you get started. Tell me how that goes.
Okay. It would go like this. Hey, Liz, how are you?
Great, Polly. How are you?
Hey, I'd love to hear about your book, where you are in the process, and I also want to know what your goals are for this book because goals can be different. I want it for the family versus I want to become a writer. So let me know the answers to those.
Okay, well, by way of background, I have a Master of Fine Arts in Writing for Children and Young Adults, and I have some works in progress that are fiction, but I've set those aside to work on something different. I am working on what I would like to serve as the basis of a 15-week undergraduate college course on the history of women in aviation. I'm setting that history on the backdrop of aviation itself and also on the history of the women's and civil rights movements. And so this is a new, there's nothing like this particularly on the market. I originally build it as a textbook, but then I just reflected on what that means. I did some research, and I'm really interested in maintaining control of this copyright because I would like to be able to keep it as a living document and make updates with it when I choose. Also, if I become a professor, an adjunct professor, I don't want to be in a position of teaching a course in which people have to spend over $100 for the textbook that I published. I want to be in a position to actually hand this book to them. And so some of the calculus that went into that when I kind of made that flip of like, you know what, I think I'm going to do self-publishing on this. I also thought, you know what, I'm going to remove things like, I had this big, beautiful, splashy textbook idea, which is still a beautiful picture in my mind, but I don't want it to, again, cost like $200 each. So part of the thing that I kind of released myself from having to do is to include pictures in the book, which is going to minimize the complexity for me in significant ways around copyrights and stuff like that. So this is sort of like a 15 to 16 chapter narrative-ish nonfiction that I would like for um the layperson to be able to read. The person that I wrote this book for, or am writing this book for, is for my 25-year-old self as a pilot. There's so much history that I wish I knew when I was just starting out in aviation that would have helped me along the way. And so that's my target audience is young adults or people just getting started in aviation who have self-selected in and are committed. Now I want them to know whose shoulders they stand on.
Wow, well done. Got a couple of questions, but I want to make a comment first.
Yes,
We
please.
just finished a book about a now retired captain who flew at United Airlines for 35 years, and he was one of their first black pilots. He's a black
Ooh, that's cool. I
Just
wanna
talked to
read
him
that.
yesterday, and he is selling books like a boss. So
Good. Good
there
for
is
him.
gonna be a good market for you. One of the places he's selling those is at, sort of these aviation museums and
Mhm.
gift
Oh,
shops.
I will be on that circuit, sister, for sure.
Yes, I might
Yep.
put you guys in touch when the time comes because
Absolutely.
he
Absolutely.
is just killing it out there.
That's
All
awesome.
right, so one question I have, um, is you said it's sort of a textbook, but then you said it's 16 chapters. So is it a little bit of both? Could you give me a picture in your head as to what that looks like so I can get a
Yeah,
clear picture?
absolutely. So, again, I started this idea came f it evolved from being a textbook to me saying more like this is the basis of a 15-week course. And I am structuring the book around that.
Okay.
So it's chronological. It's really going to be 16 chapters or a preamble, like what happened before the Wright brothers started flying in women's and civil rights. I want to give people a primer on, what feminist history looks like. And then we'll get into the chronological order. And so in each chapter, which I'm aiming for around 7,000 words, 5 to 7,000 words, I'm thinking 120,000 word book when this is done, plus 30 to 40 pages of probably of back matter with endnotes and those kinds of things. Does that help?
Okay. Okay. It does.
Okay.
I'm getting it. Now, a 120,000 word book is big.
Mm-hmm.
It's doable, but you know that it's big, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, cool. Now,
Absolutely.
frankly, my book is 134, so I got 134,000, so I got you beat,
All right,
but
there you go. See?
it can't be done. I'm just
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
I'm sure, have you talked to editors and stuff yet?
No, no,
Okay, they're gonna say
I mean,
that.
I've spoken to lots and lots of people, about lots and lots of books, but not I haven't spoken to many people about this book.
Okay, okay. No, it sounds fantastic. Uh, I have a very, very a good friend of mine in from high school. She knew from age 7 she wanted to be a pilot. And this is someone growing
That
up in the 70s and
that's
80s,
me,
right?
that's me.
That's you,
I have a whole speech about that. Nobody told me it was weird.
right?
No, nobody told me it was weird. No, in fact, I wanted to be an astronaut. This little sidebar. I told my parents I wanted to be an astronaut, and they didn't say to me, "Oh, you can't do that. There are no women astronauts." They said, if you want to be an astronaut, you need to be a pilot first. And that was the last I heard of it. And I didn't know it was weird until I got to flight school. Hence this book. Hence this book, because I got
Right.
to flight school and everybody treated me like I was weird. And meanwhile, all of these amazing women had been doing it for decades before me, and they were just ignorant. And if I had had that information to school them, I would have.
Oh my gosh, that's great. Are you a retired pilot now?
Yes, retired Coast Guard. Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Hmm.
well, congratulations.
Thanks.
Um, okay, can you tell me where you are in the process already?
Okay, so when I started this, thinking that I legitimately would like to potentially position myself to teach this material in an academic setting, I reached out to my network and requested 5 advisors. Actually, I have 6 now. So I have 6 women who are in academia and aviation who are reviewing my chapters as I write them. I have just finished chapter 5 and I'm starting chapter 6, and I have an outline for the whole book.
Okay,
Hmm.
okay, well done. And another question I have is you mentioned that there's going to be a lot of endnotes.
Correct.
Okay. Can you give me an idea as to how many? And
A
does
lot.
that mean there's going to be a lot of footnotes? Are we moving all those footnotes
Mm,
to the end?
no, I'm going to do. I would like to, unless somebody can convince me otherwise. I prefer not to read books with the superscript in the
Thank you.
text.
I'm with you,
I prefer,
girl.
but I also want to be able to find the information. So I would like to do Chicago Manual of Style and notes in like the historic, like history books are. Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. Fabulous.
Yeah. No mess on the page.
All right. And you said no photos because you thought that would be too
Mhm.
much.
I said, well, what I mean is, when we got into like getting deeper in this, I was going to ask. So
Okay.
right now, like if this were a textbook, every page would be full color, beautiful graphs, whatever's. But
Right.
right now, I'm operating on no pictures just because the copyrights are sticky. I mean, for these famous historical women to navigate those
Yeah.
copyrights.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
and what I feel like is you can Google anything now. Like you can find everybody online, and
Uh-huh.
I can have a website that links to more information about these people if people want to go look at them, because I am somebody who likes to see the person. But do they need to be in the book? But the question I was going to ask you later is, okay, well, what if I wanted to do like 1 page per chapter that has like key photos from that chapter highlighting kind of things that we talked about? So
Yeah. That's one
your
way to
thoughts on
do
that?
it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, you could say the chapter head could have a photo, just the
Yeah.
chapter head. Um,
Or or like an insert page, like I know you see a lot of the pictures, like in Heidi's book, she's got, what did she do? Oh, she mixed her pictures in, it looks like.
yeah, so they
Yeah, and
sort of land organically with the actual story. Yeah.
yeah, and then some do like the little middle thing,
Yeah.
where it's all the pictures for the book are in the middle. And
Yeah.
then I was wondering if, could I do like 1 page per chapter, like here are the pictures that are relevant to this chapter
Yeah,
kind of
you
thing.
could do that as
Yeah.
well.
Okay.
Yeah, and, you'll see with Heidi's book, they are black and white. So,
Hmm. Yep.
this is a difference between self-publishing and, say, traditional publishers. You can't spot color. So, it's either all black and white or all color.
Right.
So, even if you have one red dot on page 200, the whole darn book has to be color, even if that
Interesting.
color is black. Do you see what I
Mm,
mean? So then it
yeah.
makes it an astronomical price, and you've priced yourself out of the market. So we
Yep.
can't spot color yet. But, if Amazon would just call me and ask, I would tell them, "This is something you should sorta aim for, spot coloring." Wouldn't that be great? We want
Okay,
the
good to
whole
know.
thing in black and
Yeah.
white except these 5 pages, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So it would be black and white, and we could certainly, yeah, talk about that. Um, Sometimes when people put photos in their book, they just put too many, and I have to tell them, it's not a scrapbook. So
Right. Yeah.
right? So,
Right.
I wanna put my photo of my ticket from the concert in 1972. No, sweetie, this is not a scrapbook. Save that for the website. Okay,
There you go. See? There you
alright.
go.
So, I think I have a good picture in my head
Okay.
as to what this is. So, if you don't mind, I'm gonna tell you a little bit about us,
Yes,
and
please.
then we'll talk about sort of prices that you should expect and timelines and stuff like that.
Perfect.
Is that groovy?
Perfect.
Okay, so My Word Publishing started in the fall of 2012, and it came out of necessity because I was making some bad mistakes and getting involved with the wrong people. That's easy to do, isn't it? Someone
Yeah.
tells you what you wanna hear,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know?
It's happened to
Yeah,
me and some of my peers. Yep.
some
We've been
handsome boy
burned.
said, "You're so beautiful." "Oh, he's saying the right
Oh,
thing. I
yeah,
think I'll go this
exactly.
way."
I fell for it. I fell for it. I know exactly what you're talking about. Mhm.
So, it just so happened, if you're gonna get ripped off, you may as well do it at the beginning of the explosion in a new industry. And so I sort of thank my lucky stars that I got ripped off at the right time in human history. So the self-publishing world was getting ready to explode because I always knew that was an option. But looking at the self-published books in
Mhm.
2007, 8, 9, 10, ew,
Yeah, not
um,
great. Not all of them are great.
yeah.
And just to that point, let me just say this out loud because in case people have not been paying attention to why I do this, why do I have an aviatrix writers room? It's
Mhm.
because I read so many books uh, from our community that were clearly written and published by pilots. And there are so many tools out there to get your book published so that it looks polished, like it was, edited and done well. So that's what the whole point of this is, to elevate the quality of our collective canon so that it reaches a broader audience.
Well, sort of, I still don't know how I feel about this, but sort of the beauty of today is that anyone can get their content into the world.
Yep.
But of course, what does that mean? That means anyone can get their content into the world,
Yep.
right? So
Exactly.
it's this double-edged sword. So I often tell people if there is a spectrum of publishing from, crap like your mother would be embarrassed up to New York Times bestseller, and it's fabulous, and you've had professionals involved, there's a whole spectrum in here.
Yeah,
Okay.
there is in the
Oh,
traditional publishing world too. They put some garbage out too.
yeah, they do.
They
They do.
really
But,
do.
like, right behind me, I have this bookshelf of these horrible layouts and books that
Oh,
I
you're
use as samples of what not to do.
excellent.
You
I love
know?
that.
I know, it's horrible.
That's funny.
Anyway, so, um, I started My Word Publishing and, with the concept again that I'll manage the project because even though it's self-publishing with a project manager because
Mhm.
the mistakes that you can make are ones that just cost you money, you know? Like, I have all kinds of people do their layout before they do any editing. Well, now you gotta pay for layout twice, okay? Or they do their cover before they have a title, now they gotta change the title, and then they're gonna change it again, and that costs money. So, I I'm just gonna toot our horn a little bit. Is that
Do
okay?
it. Yeah,
Okay,
that's why we're here.
give me 20 seconds, okay? Our our very first book is, gosh, I have it here somewhere, but, this one gal calls me and she says, "I understand you've self-published your book, so could you help me?" I said, "Yeah, meet me at the Panera because I have a proposal for you." Now, I'd been doing this for 2 years with people, but for, just free 'cause I don't like to see people get ripped off. So she meets me at the Panera, and I said, "Listen, I've been doing this for a couple of years now for people and thinking seriously of starting my own business where I manage an author's project, but you maintain all rights, royalties, etc. So would you be my first beta girl?" beta test this whole system.
I love
She
it.
says, yeah, sure. That was Barbara Oliverio, and she went on that book, our very first book, went on to become a movie at the Hallmark Channel.
Yikes!
Isn't that awesome?
Amazing.
Yeah. So it took off fast, and I brought other publishing coaches on board, and I trained them the way that I want to see a project run, and then in September of 2022, My Word Publishing was submitted into the U.S. Congressional Record for being a new model of publishing that helps protect authors. So
Oh,
that was,
neat.
yeah. So those are my little bragging points. Okay, we'll
Congrats.
move on.
That's wonderful. No, congrats. That's amazing.
Thanks. It's fun to look back on, and once in a while, even now, I'll look back and like see someone's old file from 10, 12 years ago. And go, oh, isn't that precious?
Oh, I love that. I
So,
love
I
that.
know. Can I share my screen at all that you can see it?
Yeah,
So I
let's
can
see.
show you what I'm doing if I'm gonna write out what we do and what to expect
Yeah,
in
let's
pricing.
see. Let's see if we can do that.
Can you see this now?
I sure can. Looks
How
good.
exciting.
All right.
Okay. So
Good
let's
to go.
put your name in here, okay? Let me guide you through this. Is the first page is what I do as your publishing coach. So every time we talk to someone, we assign them a publishing coach. And there are 3 of us, and everyone's been working with us for 6 years plus now and have been through the training. And frankly, oh gosh, I can't help myself. Another bragging point.
Do it.
100% 5-star Google reviews
Nice.
with my little team. Aren't they awesome? Anyway,
Fantastic.
okay, I'll shut up about the bragging points. But anyway, so the first page is what we're doing as your publishing coach. I'll get back to that in a second. The second page, we're going to go over a good faith estimate. Okay, so I'm going to put up here based on a 120,000 word manuscript. Okay, we're going to get
She
back to that.
giggled like,
Yeah, it's big, but I got you beat. So there you go. The second page, we're going to continue a little bit on prices to expect and then royalties to expect.
Mhm.
We can even figure out how many books you need to sell in order to make your production costs back. And
Absolutely.
while that is not a goal really for people, it's kind of nice to have a gauge,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
You
It's a
don't have to
goal.
do 10,000 books. No, no. So it's just simply a gauge. And then a timeline. Okay.
All right.
And then down here, we have a please understand section because a lot of times people are entering this publishing world for the first time. And whether they use us to continue forward or not, I like them to understand certain things in the publishing world that they should know. What is print on demand? What can you do with print on demand and what you cannot? So we talk about that and some other things. Okay, so
Okay.
let's back it up. We're going to first take this first page here. Okay. So over the 13 years we've been in business now, we've honed, and of course it keeps being honed because things change and we add things and the industry changes. So right now it's a 189-point book publishing system that we take you through in a number of meetings. Okay.
Okay.
Every project is different. So that might be 196 for you or maybe 120.
Got
So
it.
yeah, so not everything applies to you. To help you understand what we're doing as your publishing coach, I've broken it up into sort of 2 buckets. And this first bucket is consulting. You know what that is. We're making decisions together. And no 2 projects are the same. A lot of my job is also setting expectations. This is new for people, and I want to make sure they understand the possibilities of what happens next. For example, okay, our next step is we're going to go to the proof editor. Here's what we should expect from the proof editor. Here's what you should not do. Da, 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 da,
Mm-hmm.
So they don't, I mean, the worst thing you can say to me is, I had no idea that blah, blah, blah. No, then I haven't done my job.
Got it.
We also put together your team. The right editor for you is not necessarily right for the editor behind you. So it's my job to find the right editor with you, the right cover designer, layout designer. So no one works for My Word Publishing except me. Okay. Our publishing coaches, they're independent contractors, just like sort of a real estate agent works for Remax, but it's their own business. Now, sometimes an author will bring one of their pals with them, like, oh, I have this friend of mine who does covers, so I want to use her. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fine. Give me an introduction because I got to work with them as the manager of the project. So I have this whole list of 45 editors that have been through our vetting process. And you know what? It's, my goals are different than, say, every author's goal. My goal is to put out the best book possible. But depending on their goal, it occurs to me only a couple of years ago, not every author wants the best editor because they're going to be the most expensive. I want to become a writer. Well, then I'm going to lean you towards one of these people over here, which have all of them have made the NFL, but they're not the starting lineup. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it occurs to me that we probably need a broader posse of, say, editors and some, because everyone's in a different price range too. So,
Can you talk about what kind of editing services you offer? Are you doing developmental editing? Are you
yeah, we do
doing?
all of them. And it usually starts with a developmental edit, usually.
Mm-hmm.
And that's structural and big picture. They don't give two hoots where the commas and periods are at this point. They're looking at the
Right.
structure of the story, 30,000-foot view.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times that's a rewrite.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second round of editing, usually with the same editor, is what we call a copy line editor. And I say what we call it, not that we have our own language, but it, it I discovered that there was a different language between people in the industry, sort of like British English and American English,
Right.
we sort of have different terms, so we have to make sure we're speaking the same language. So the copy line edit is when that same editor is going through the manuscript line by line, quite literally looking at sentence structure and paragraph structure and word choices and flow and consistencies. And then we get it to a proof editor, which is a separate set of eyeballs, and they are looking for grammar, punctuation according to Chicago Manual style. Okay. So that's the editing process. Now, the editing process isn't the same for everyone. Let's say someone comes to us after they've worked with a writing coach. So it's in pretty good developmental shape. So I'm going to take their manuscript and I'm going to send it out to a couple of editors to get proposals. And one editor might say, this can go straight to copy line. In fact, the copy line even looks pretty good. I'd like to do the copy line and proof together as one round because it's in such good shape. Another manuscript going off to an editor might say, it needs a full 3 standard rounds of editing, starting with the developmental and, because editors it's subjective,
Yep.
So
Yeah.
3 editors can look at it and they can all give a different opinion. So is someone lying to you? No, they just see it differently. It's like, well, I can't make up my mind between Liam Neeson and Harrison Ford. It's like they're both fabulous. One might not be right for me. So it's subjective. So we want to make
Yep.
sure that the author is matched with the right editor. They have to be involved with it. We urge them to talk to the editors and make that right decision because it's a very almost intimate relationship. It's imperative you have the right editor.
So it's like a two-way interview. Like the editor is deciding if they want to work with this author, and the author has some say in whether they work with this editor.
Absolutely.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And of course, not all authors, we have one that only does horror. And I'm like, well, I don't know how much business we'll have for you. But
Yeah.
yeah, some do fiction only, nonfiction. So we have to be ready so we have like, again, 45 editors and we've worked with a lot of them for a long time. So yeah, getting that team together is a bigger deal than it sounds on paper.
I
And
believe it.
even cover designers, we have like 5 cover designers of varying price points and skill sets and looks and schedules.
Okay.
So like we go over their portfolios and I make that introduction and off they go. So
Okay.
we're putting together a very unique team for each person. And I'll tell you, I saw this publishing company once bragging about how we have in-house editors, and I'm thinking, ew, I don't, as an author, I don't want that because what you're telling me is I'm just getting the next editor in line. I'm
Right.
not getting one that is specifically good for me, my personality, my genre, timeline. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that was really important to me, is to make sure the author gets the right editor.
Okay.
Another thing we do in the consulting area here, obviously we're consulting about title and, categorization and retail price, but I'm also doing a lot of troubleshooting. Okay. The troubleshooting is predominantly with, say, Amazon or Ingram, whoever we're going to use, because those are essentially tech related. But it's also with people. Let's say an editor is not returning their call. Polly, I can't get in touch with, Betty. Oh, I'm on it. Now that's not going to happen, or they wouldn't be one of our editors, but I'm just giving you sort of an example of I'm troubleshooting with people as well as, and you know what I talk about too, and I make sure the author understands this up front. I will stick up for that author till the cows come home, but I will equally stick up for our team. So an example would be one time an author had one of our cover designers go through 22 iterations of a cover.
That's
And
a
then,
lot.
yeah. And
Yeah.
then he said, never mind, I'm gonna go with someone else. I said, okay,
Ooh.
I understand. I'll have them just send you the final invoice. Oh
Yeah.
no, I'm not gonna pay for it.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So that's when I'm sticking up for
Got it.
that service provider. And frankly, I just explained it and he said, I get it. And he was fine. But that's just an example of I'm good cop and bad cop and therapist too, by the way.
Well, good.
Um,
I know where I'm going then. What are you?
yeah, yeah. Let's toss him some. We always thought a good editor is actually a therapist. When you're dealing with memoirs that are tough topics,
Oh,
right?
yeah, for sure. I can
Yeah.
see that.
I don't think I explained this well, but we have all of our authors open their own publishing companies.
Mhm.
So if we have published close to 1,200 books now, every one of them has their own publishing company because I don't have any rights. So we talk to them about how should we name your publishing company and what should we not name your publishing company. I don't want it named after their topic because what if the next book is a children's book? What if the next book then is a memoir versus a business book versus a textbook versus a workbook? Do you
Well,
see
so
what I
let's
mean?
talk about that for me. I
Okay,
already have an LLC, Literary Aviatrix, and in my mind, if I'm gonna publish any books in aviation and they're gonna be self-published, that would be the title of my company, the Literary Aviatrix Publishing.
perfect. I would agree to that. There are some
Okay.
situations where I probably
Yeah,
would talk you out of it, but I think that's fine, just like Microsoft has a publishing arm, Microsoft
right.
Publishing. So, yeah, yeah, we could do
And
that.
d and would you structure that under the main business, or would you do like a like a DBA?
I would put it underneath that business, but with some caveats. So when this situation comes up, I would say, "Are you the sole owner of this company?"
Yes.
"Yes." "Okay, do
Mhm.
you ever plan on selling this? Is this a company that can be sold? Because then I don't want your book and publishing company going with that company when you sell it." Do you see what I mean?
Important question, thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah, that's an important question. I don't know the answer to that, so I'm gonna have to reflect on that.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
and it very well could be, okay, the business is for sale, but it doesn't include the publishing arm. I mean,
yeah.
y
But just having that degree of separation is probably a good idea, huh?
yeah.
Okay,
But
thanks.
if you could put it just, gosh, you know what I discovered though is each state has different terms. So in Colorado where I am, a DBA is um, a, a model underneath the parent company, right?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
other states, you just open a DBA as the main company.
Yeah.
So in
Yeah.
my language, open it up as a DBA under your existing company because
Yeah.
then, like Colorado, it's $10. It's like, yeah, take my money, please. Yeah.
Yeah. Understood.
So
Okay.
so I would talk them through that. So certain states, what state are you in?
I'm in Florida.
Okay, easy peasy, easy peasy. But now if your next book, you mentioned children's books,
Yeah.
as well, is, you know, maybe, and we would talk about this as part of the consulting. If in fact you don't put it under your Aviatrix publishing, create a whole separate publishing entity. Again, in Florida, easy. I wouldn't do that for you if you lived in another state where it's $800 to open up a simple sole proprietorship.
Yeah.
But for you, then you can put all of your works through that one company, right?
Good to go.
Yeah. So, yeah, let's talk about that. Just because you mentioned children's books and
yeah, they're all aviation themed. I pretty much don't have anything in my head that doesn't have an airplane in it or a helicopter. There's pretty much nothing Liz is ever going to produce that doesn't have a helicopter or an airplane.
Okay.
So, I think we're pretty safe.
Groovy. So this isn't for you so much, but just, being thorough. A lot of people that we work with have never had a business before. So we have to talk them through how to set up that business and how to keep records and what to keep records of. And then eventually how to get a sales tax license. And is it good for you? There's a workaround that we would talk about. For example, if you sell online only,
right,
then you don't need the sales license. So a lot of fiction writers who sell ebook only, we don't, we talk about it, but we say, I don't think you need a sales tax license. So we had this huge conversation. For you, it'd probably be a short conversation.
I don't know. It sounds like I could learn some things from you. I don't pretend to know everything. So,
okay. Again, as the publishing coach, I'm setting up your KDP account. We predominantly use KDP, which is Amazon's publishing arm. We'll also use, for you, I would also want to do Ingram and do both of them.
Absolutely. Good. I was going to ask you that question right away. Perfect. Thank you. Yeah.
Good. And not everyone would we say that. So why you? Because you have a marketing plan. You're going in, girl, and I hear you. So there you go. Once we set up your company, then we go in and purchase your ISBNs, and they are custom. So if someone were to scan your barcode, your company comes up. My Word Publishing is nowhere to be seen in that barcode or, frankly, in the book itself. It's all your company. If you want to put us in the acknowledgments, you can do that. But
that is the kind of thing that I would do for sure.
I just playing. But
as long as it goes well, of course.
Yeah, exactly. But if we're not on the copyright page, you were not on the back cover, nothing. Okay.
Read some of this up because we do have folks who are going to be listening to this on podcast. Okay, cool. So read these things off for them.
Good,
they know what you're doing.
Good idea. So we set up your KDP account and Ingram. Ingram's extra though.
Yeah.
Why? Because they're a pain in the ass.
Yeah, but I want it. I need it. Yeah.
But KDP comes along with the.
You know what? Let's take a moment on that because I don't think I've covered that in depth anywhere else. So why is it more, and why is it important? Why do I want Ingram? Talk about that.
Okay. So Ingram historically, there's Ingram Distribution, largest distributor worldwide, and then so why are we not? Why am I even hesitating? Well, because then Amazon came around and really kind of took over. The statistic is such that 74% of all books sold around the world are sold via Amazon. Okay?
Well, I am somebody who believes strongly in my local independent bookstore.
Yeah. So, what we like to do is put you up on KDP and to be in Amazon exclusively around the world. So you're in Amazon Japan, Amazon Australia, and then we put you over into Ingram because bookstores, meeting planners, if you're a speaker, meeting planners love to order through Ingram.
Yep.
And of course libraries and stuff like that.
Yep.
But our data and experience shows us that, and me included, I'm on Ingram and KDP. If I sell 500 books on KDP, I'll sell maybe 1, 2, 3, or 4 on Ingram. Okay. So, but we have to have it if you are marketing heavily to bookstores or marketing heavily to, speaking engagements and stuff like that.
Exactly. There you go. That's the key, and I think that's important for all of my audience, because these are people typically who are writing a memoir and plan to go talk about it, and they're gonna and, at the end of these events, they're gonna wanna do a book signing and sell the books. So
There's another big reason, couple other big reasons to go with Ingram, is if you want to get into a wonky market that doesn't have Amazon, for example, India, okay?
right.
Yeah, and so, Ingram has that global distribution. I'm working with an Indian man right now, lives in America, but wants to market heavily in India, and while we can get his ebook up via
Right.
Amazon into India, not the paperback, so we have to go with Ingram and, other of those countries that Amazon doesn't hit.
Yeah.
So that and if you want a hardcover with a dust cover jacket, then we have to go through Ingram.
Oh, good
So,
to know.
yeah, and there are Ingram also offers a lot more trim sizes than KDP. So, I don't know that we wanna get too fancy.
Yeah, we don't have to get into all those details just now, but
We can, at this point, I might sorta cut to the chase here then, okay?
okay.
So, my publishing fee, my service fee is $34.95. That's a flat rate for managing the project.
Okay.
And then we go through with an author what additional fees would be, $3.99 for Ingram, and people say, "Oh, I didn't think Ingram cost anything." No, it doesn't. That's my fee. 'Cause
I don't feel like that's a lot. That I'm
I
not getting sticker shock by any means here, so
Okay, cool.
totally
Catalog
reasonable.
and publication data. I might want that with you, and that is a block of metadata that goes on your copyright page. Libraries insist on it. So for someone like you,
Absolutely.
maybe.
Yes, please.
Okay. So, uh, development edit. Uh, have you been through an editor yet?
I am not feeling
You're
strongly that I'm going to want the input of a developmental editor. I have 6 advisors,
okay.
most
Yeah.
several of whom who have published already, like, their stuff, so but yeah. How much are you charging for a developmental edit for those who
Well,
would
I
need
would
it?
get it to a couple of different editors and get their fees. So I always say,
Okay.
well, that's not my call.
Okay.
I'm no
Okay.
editor girl. Nobody wants me editing a book.
Gotcha.
But, I could have a couple editors just look at it, and
Mhm.
they would say, "No, developmentally, this is in great shape. Let's
Mhm.
cut to a copy line." Now, copy line, let me just give you and I'll fill this all out and send it to you, but based on 120,000 words, let's say copy line edit for a very good editor, okay? One of our top editors, let's say, 3.5 to 4 cents per word, okay? So, what does that equal? 120,000 times point oh, let's say on the high end. Let's say on the high end, 4,800. Okay.
Okay.
But we don't have to go with top notch, but we'll just say 3,500 to 4,800. Okay.
Mhm.
And we'll get it to a couple of different editors, etc. Okay. A final proof edit is based on word count, 120,000 words times point oh 0.03. So about 3,600. Okay. Ish. I'm going to put an ish over here. Cover designers run from $425 on the low side, and frankly, she is fabulous.
Awesome.
Fabulous. And then we go all the way up to a couple of them work with Simon and Schuster, because they're hiring freelancers as well. So there
Yeah.
you go. Could be
So
1,100, could be 1,200, could be 2,500,
So
etc.
I have a question. So
Yeah.
how does that relationship work with the cover designer? For example, I have an idea of what I want my cover to look like. So talk to me about that.
Okay. So we would review all the portfolios and you'd choose one. Okay. And then you guys have a discussion. I'm usually there as well. And they usually say, "Do you have any ideas?" "Yes, I have this idea and I want this picture and I want this in the background and all the rest of it."
Yep.
And they know that I will always say, "Thank you, Miss Cover Designer. Now I want you to pretend that you have only heard about the book itself and the topic and the market and did not hear her idea." Because these are professional cover designers. And
Yeah,
if
I'm
we
kind of
start telling
inclined
them
I'm inclined to see what they come up with first and then tell them my idea.
Okay. I got to tell you, and they want to honor your idea.
Mhm.
Okay, they do.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
not one single time in 1,200 books have we actually used the author's initial idea.
Interesting.
Isn't that fun?
I'm very interested in that.
Uh-huh.
I wanna be surprised. Absolutely, that's
Yeah,
cool. Okay.
yeah. The interior design for one like yours, oh gosh, yeah, I don't want this guy. We love this guy. He does a $300 flat rate, but the software he uses that allows him to go so inexpensive can't do the tricky stuff that I think you have with all those endnotes.
Okay.
So I'm gonna say somewhere around 850 ish. It's not a flat rate, and I'm gonna put that in here. Not a flat rate, but we would get an estimate. I'm in the neighborhood. We'd get an estimate from the
Okay.
designer. Ebook, I'm gonna say in the 200-ish range. Not a flat rate.
Got it.
ISBN 125 for one, 295 for a package of 10, and psst, I get a discount. So it's either 106 or $250 for a package of 10.
Nice. Nice,
All
nice.
right. And then the printing of books. And we don't have time to go into that, but we go on to KDP's royalty calculator, and I would estimate your book to be around 340 pages or something. So
Mhm.
let's go see what that would cost. It's probably going to be in the $5 neighborhood for your cost. We'd look at the royalty, and we'd go through royalties to expect. Okay.
And okay, so you did just kind of brush over that, and I know people are gonna be like, "Well, wait a minute. What does that mean?" So can you just give us a little more
Yeah, you bet.
on the
Okay.
royalty thing?
Yeah, the royalties, and I'm gonna quote KDP's royalties, okay?
Mhm.
But because they're always less expensive than Ingram. This is KDP's calculator. This is gonna be rather broad just due to time, but let's say we want a paperback. Interior
Mhm.
type is black and white, okay? Let's say with cream paper. Let's say the trim size is 6 by 9 for a book of that breadth. So let's say 340 pages,
Okay.
okay? And let's say the price is $21.95. We would put all kinds of research into this, but I'm just giving you a sample, okay?
Cool.
So they have a calculator, and it tells us in this scenario, 340 pages at $21.95, your cost is $508.
Mhm.
Okay, so there's a couple ways to sell a book. You buy your inventory for $508. That's your author cost.
Right.
Turn around and sell it to someone for $21.95. The
Okay.
balance is yours. That's what we call direct to consumer.
Okay.
You've bought it for $508, sell it for $21.95. Might be $22.95. We don't.
Mhm.
Then if someone buys it from Amazon, here's how it works. Amazon, then if someone buys it, Amazon takes 40% off, like any retail shop. They
Mhm.
take 40% and the cost of the book at $508,
Mhm.
which leaves you $8.09, and that is your royalty that is dropped into your bank account every month.
Got it. Thank you.
Yes, one of the beauties of self-publishing, particularly through KDP or Ingram, is that if you make one darn penny, then it's dropped into your bank account. You don't have to have these minimums and get paid every 6 months like
Like the traditional.
a
Yeah.
traditional and hybrid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do get a penny too. If someone in India buys my ebook, I get 1 penny, which is very funny. But
That's
anyway,
awesome.
so we would put a lot more thought into this. Let's
Yeah.
say it's 360 pages at $23.95, and then we just kinda go through it. Yeah,
Mhm. Okay. Got it.
okay,
Cool. Thank you.
yeah. I know this is a lot of information I'm dumping on you,
No,
but
it's
it
good
gives
stuff.
you a solid, foundation, and of course, with a big word count, the cover design price is the same,
Right.
but the editing is a lot more.
Right.
So if If we can get away with not doing a development edit, that's going to save you some good coin.
So what's the next step? So somebody goes to your website, they do this consult with you, you collect all their ideas and their stuff, and then what's next? Well, so for example, where I am, I probably wouldn't normally be talking to a publisher yet about my project because I'm only 5 chapters into it and I have another 8 to 10 months of just the drafting, never mind the revising. So, at what point should writers get in touch with you? And what happens next?
That's a great question because, well, people come to us at 2 different stages. One is, I have an idea, but I don't know how to write a book. Well, let's have a conversation, and I would love to have you start with a writing coach because it took me 6 years to write my book. I didn't know a writing coach was an option.
Mhm.
Working with a writing coach largely helps you skip the development edit altogether because the development's about structure. And when you're working with a writing coach, you can, you're already structuring it. So you can, and you have a shoulder to cry on and you have a directive and someone to call. And so you go writing coach, skip right over development and straight into copy line. See what
Got
I
it.
mean?
Yep.
So they can call us then. If that's the case, you're writing with the writing coach and you're grooving. We would want to get involved then when you and the writing coach hit the editing phase. Like first draft done, let's head into copy line editing. That's when we get involved. Because
So
we got a
after a
lot.
first draft.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We do not want you to wait until like the book's all done because we got a lot to do.
Okay.
While the editor is doing their thing, you're twiddling your thumbs all twitchy and nervous. Let's open your accounts and figure out your title and get your copyright page together. Even start working on your marketing plan. And then when the editing comes back to you, the author, I want you working on the edits. And then I kind of back away a little bit.
Got it.
And then you send it back to the editor. Then we're back in, you know?
Okay.
So that's kind of how we use it. What was your other question? You had another good one there.
What
When
happens after so okay, we reach out to you after we have a first draft. We know this thing is gonna get to publishing, but we don't have a polished product yet. So you want us to get in touch with you early in that process.
Yeah.
And then after we have our consult, what happens next?
Okay, so then I would send this to you. So there's a lot of information I'm dropping on you. So I want you to sit with it. And the next phase would be actual proposal stage. So this is good faith estimate. I'm giving you an idea as to what this would be, but I ain't no editor, and they charge different things. And so then you say, yeah, I'd like to move forward with proposal.
Okay.
Great. Now you got to send me your manuscript in a Word document, not PDF, not Google Docs, not Pages. A Word doc. And then I send it off to a couple of editors. They send back their proposals, and you look at them and go, I love both of them. What am I supposed to do? And I said, let me introduce you to both of them. I want you to have a conversation, because this is an important decision. And then if you say, okay, I want Betty Bop for my editor, and I'm ready to go. Great. Then we move forward into agreement. And I draft an agreement for my project management and advisory services. We get you going with the editor, and off we go.
I'm gonna throw you a curveball. I didn't warn you about this, and if you can decline to answer it if you
Okay.
choose. But I'm curious to know how AI is affecting your business, either in positive or negative ways.
Yeah, because it is both. Negative ways is people that don't really know how to use AI and they want to do their covers with AI.
Oh yeah, I have a draft cover of mine that I used AI for. You
Yeah.
want to see it? It's pretty it's a good concept, but it's not there yet because I don't really know how to do the art in AI yet.
Yeah. And it is good for idea generation.
Right.
So we like it for idea generation. And I do this thing, it's a titling brainstorm. So AI is great for giving us ideas. I have a book, a fiction novel about blah, 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 and I'll write 2 paragraphs and then give me 20 titles and subtitles.
Yep.
It's great for that kind of thing. It's great for giving me a jump start on a back blurb, you know,
Mm-hmm.
back cover content. But the editors want to know when the author has used AI.
Mm-hmm.
Just just to be more, that doesn't mean they're not gonna work with them. Of course, they work with them. But AI tends to repeat things and use a lot of M dashes, and so
Depending on the tool you're using for sure. Yep.
yeah, but it's really the cover thing that has, "Look at my cover. Cover's all done. Don't need a cover designer." Ugh, it's li and I wanna respect people's wallet, but no, you don't want that going out into the world,
No.
and you can't copyright a cover if it's done in AI.
Can't you?
No.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Or people
I
that
wasn't
do
aware of
their
that.
covers in Canva, and we love Canva. Ain't no one in the world loving Canva more than me,
Mm-hmm.
but, um, if they're using a template, then how many other people are using that exact same
For
template?
a template, fair, yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
can see that. But so you can't copyright an original design using AI?
From what I understand, and this is changing constantly,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah, that's the problem.
It depends on how much that original design.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alright.
Because if you're just telling AI what to do, it's coming from somewhere. That's the whole thing with AI. All these ideas are coming from somewhere.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah, we're kind of all on standby, and we meet once a month, what's happened with AI this month, and we're
It's
we're
happened in
trying to follow
past.
we're
Mm,
kinda at the front lines of all of that and
absolutely.
appreciate what it is.
Mhm.
Good
Well,
question.
this is great, Polly. What else do you want authors to know who are, if they're coming to me, this is my most common audience is going to be, ladies typically who are, finishing up a career and writing a memoir. So the book that I want to publish is a little different than the majority of the people that I would be recommending your services to.
Okay.
Most of them are memoir writers. What do you want to know? And most of them are just going to write one book, and it's going to be their memoir about their career in aviation. What do you want them to know?
I want them to get professionals involved, and this is not, being self-serving. To get professionals involved so you can tell the right, so you think you know what the story is, right? It might not be
Mhm.
what you
Mhm.
think it is. So an editor helps draw that out and become a
Okay.
really good book. So you could go from a good book that's fine to a great book. So get professionals involved. And I also want to say, please don't be in a hurry. Don't be in a hurry. And we see it all the time where someone's worked so hard on writing it and going through the development at it, which again, a lot of times is a rewrite.
Mhm.
And once they see it head into, say, a layout design, now they're in a hurry. It's in a hurry. I'm in a hurry. Everybody's waiting for this book. Everybody's waiting, and I'm in a hurry. Slow
Right.
down. This is not the time to be in a hurry.
I've seen it too, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. And you're like, and then when you get the book, I'm talking to you ladies. When I get the book, I'm like, "Oh man, if you had just done 1 or 2 more passes, this book would be so good." But you were in a hurry, and I can tell. I can see it.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, you're on to something personally, back to just you and your book.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. I'm going to
Thank
be
you.
the first one to buy it for my friend I've known since high school, who's now retired and flying all over the world.
Well, thank you. That's kind of you.
Yes, you're
Well,
going to
you
be
might get
fine.
to read it before then. I may be sending it your way.
Okay, you got it.
Polly, this is fantastic. I really appreciate you doing this with me. I know it all depends. Everything depends. It's like,
Yeah.
and anybody listening, just, she went through prices for what I'm working on today, February 2026. All that's going to change with your conversation with them. So, this was just to kind of give you a sense and give me a sense of what this looks like. And I really appreciate you doing this for me.
Yeah, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. It sounds like a great book, and, of course, we'd love to help you launch it into the world, so
Where can everybody find you?
Find us at mywordpublishing.com.
Okay.
And just reach out to me. I'm Polly, Polly, at mywordpublishing.com. And just say, Liz sent me.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Polly, this is awesome. Thank you.
Thanks for what you're doing too, okay?
Appreciate it. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Liz.
And here I am, I'm ready to go again. I'm ready to say